Hello everyone, welcome back. Another episode of Bitcoin Trade here, and let's take a look at the charts here. So, um, I'm on a 12-hour on a Bitfinex, and that's the current price. And let's take a look at see what happened. Last time I spoke, I was right around here. Um, I was mentioning that there seems like a good momentum to push up through, but I was wrong. And so, anyways, uh, when things don't go your way, um, instead of getting angry or frustrated, you should figure out why it didn't go your way and try to analyze it that way or bring some rationale, um, so you can basically learn from that. And of course, um, your analysis, my analysis, will not always be correct, but overall, uh, it's not, whatever happens, happens, but what do you do after it happens is really important, as well as trying to figure out what happened or what is happening. And so when I look at this, I wanted to know why it didn't break through. And there could be a couple reasons. Um, but let's go over the chart real quick. And it's kind of interesting how the charts, the analysis of the chart, the timing of the charts, kind of coincides with some things that have happened. And so let me go back to a daily. Here's some current prices right now on Bitstamp, Bitfinex, BitC, and Hobu. And if you notice that Bitfin now is below Bitstamp, very close. It's not as high, like it was $2 to $3 higher than some of the other exchanges. Now you're seeing very close, and when I see that, sometimes that's a signal, or one of the early, I guess you can't say early, but an indication that it's getting really bearish. Excuse me. It's really getting very bearish here, and so kind of a indication, but not always true. But considering what has happened, obviously it's an indication now. Um, so just want to add that point. But let's go on to a daily chart here, and I started looking at this a little bit more. There's a daily here, and you kind of see this point right here, and I'll try to point with the pencil, with my pen here. This right here, and these 2 points in particular. Let me come out even further, and if you'll see I'll come out to a 3-day, and then you could kind of see something here. You start seeing something. Now I mentioned like the long term that came down here, kind of came out, and then it said it was kind of broke through. It did broke through here at this point, or at this level, but there's always a line to break through, no matter what. Even on even when things are going up, there's always a line to break through, or the opposite would be there's always a support to see if it would bounce off of that support. So um, it's what people are seeing. And at the time, I did notice it, but I didn't know if it would have a play or not. But obviously now, if you look at a 3-day, uh, you could kind of see the early indications here. If you go into a 12-hour or an hourly, you're kind of saying, well, man, it's so late. Um, I'll show you what I'm talking about. This is a 3-day, and you kind of see that there's this trend line here, resistance line, that is pretty apparent now. you couldn't tell until after this happened that there might be some resist. This is a little resistant line here, and you kind of see it here, and so maybe others have seen it and they caught on to it. But if you look at it right now, it doesn't really look that bad. It looks like, man, if you get out now, you're catching it right on early. Well, depends on the chart, right? If I keep going into the daily, you're saying, well, it's not too bad. You can still get out kind of early. And if you look at the 12-hour, you're kind of going, well, man, I'm kind of late. And if you keep on going, if you go into the 1 hour, you're saying to yourself, wow, I'm really late. What am I going to do now? So I guess it all depends on your perspective. But the reason for me doing this is I just wanted to see why it didn't break out and instead it broke down. And so that could be a reason. And interestingly enough, it does coincide with some events that have happened. Apparently there was a dark market website called Evolution apparently have basically absconded with their users Bitcoin for the most part. About $12 million supposedly, but who knows what the real number is. Anyways, let's kind of go into that here. And apparently right here is when the news broke out, and then this is also when the drop in the price occurred. It's kind of just really strange how it works itself into a time frame and into a chart of the Bitcoin price, that it does that. Now you gotta ask yourself, does that mean if something happens in the dark market, does it affect the exchange prices? Because this is obviously a chart from the exchange. I don't know. It seems like it does correlate, but does it really? Because if you really look back here and you see this, and of course hindsight's always 20/20, but if you want to look for a reason, I mean, I guess you'll find a reason. But this kind of makes the most sense for me, because I wonder why it didn't break through. Doesn't mean it won't break through. It just means why it didn't break through right here at this time. And I guess there's some consensus that there's another resistance here, this downtrend resistance. And at this point, I guess there's not enough buyers who are convinced that this will break through. And so what you had is a sell-off, or it could be the news of the dark market, worried about how this may make its way into the exchanges and drive the price down. Another one I've heard is the auction winners have dumping their coins. I mean, rumors and speculation are pretty rampant. But if you just look at the chart, I'm always pretty certain that there's something going on that correlates to the chart and the price action. There always seems to be. Why? I don't know. This stuff is not science. Has no basis for anything, but yet people react to it. So it does have an effect. So that's what I'm trying to get at anyway. How now going forward? How can you take advantage of this? Well, that's kind of like a good question, and let's go back to the 12-hour, and let's take a look at some of the things that I guess you can take advantage. Obviously, there is a price decrease, or the price has gone down. The advantage that you could get out of this is that this could be the opportunity to um, get into the Bitcoin at a lower price. I say that all the time, and you have to forgive me, but I'm kind of biased. And that's just the way I am. I don't know what to say. But what am saying is true, because now that the price has gone down, and if you did, if you're I guess if you're a seller and you're looking to maybe get some value out of this move or do a value play, this could be an opportunity. For me, I always look at everything that I could take advantage of, whether price is going up or price is going down. In this case, the price has gone down. How can I take advantage of it? Well, every time the price goes down, the way I take advantage of it is, obviously I'm going to try to make my gains in Bitcoin, because as the price goes down, keeping or making gains in Bitcoin becomes much easier. And so that's kind of what I'm doing when the price goes down. I take on the strategy of making gains in Bitcoin. When the price goes up, I'm pretty happy that I've made my gains in Bitcoin, all the while still trading, still selling, of course, but at the same time still buying. But while you're doing this, keeping your gains in Bitcoin, as the prices go up, it becomes much easier to make money versus constantly trying to buy and sell your Bitcoins. But anyways, I've been doing this for 1.5 years now. And as I keep doing this and I keep doing more of this, I'm learning more and more things. Now, I'm learning this from my experience. I'm learning it from doing, and I guess in some ways you're experiencing some of the things I'm experiencing. If you're watching, you're also benefiting from, I guess, my mistakes and also my fortunes. What's the opposite of mistake? The right moves I made. Some of the things I'm learning, and I'm getting to a point where I'm making trades off of trades, and it's getting to a point where I'm really starting to really understand, or get a better understanding of how I can really use Bitcoin to my advantage. To some degree, you could use, U.S. dollars or whatever currency you're trading, your local currency or whatever that you're trading. But I'm starting to learn that you can put in a little bit of effort and get a lot of bang for your Bitcoin and your dollars. And so I want to talk in this episode about leveraging your trades, and I'm going to try to explain it, because I've never really understood it. As far as I understood, leveraging was, okay, you have, $1, and for every dollar you only need like maybe 10 cents or something ridiculous, a penny, whatever. I think it's I think today they don't allow that much extreme leverage, but that's what most people consider leveraging. Like you have a little bit of money, but you're able to make, uh, a lot of trades. So, how can I say this? Well, I guess you all know what leveraging is if you've been trading. Basically, you need a fraction of your whatever you're trading, money or whatever it is, and you're trading in the full amount on the fact that, well, you're going to be paying that off when you close out your trade. So you don't really need all your money. You just need a small portion of it to do the trade, right? Something that we all learned from the housing boom and the stock market crash and all this other leveraging that we've done. Well, um, that's kind of basically you're using money that you don't have, or you're using stocks that you don't have. You're using assets that you really don't have, and you're trading assets on a promise. Basically, that's kind of leveraging, right? Well, my experience with Bitcoin and leveraging is a little different. I want you to imagine or think about a gear, a round gear, a big round gear, and a small gear, and another medium gear, and you know that's kind of how I'm leveraging. I'm having a trade within a trade within a trade, and they're all kind of working together. And with the amount of my full Bitcoin or my full dollars that I'm using, I'm able to turn the gears, and because the way the gears are set up for what I'm putting into it, I'm getting a larger amount out of it, if that makes sense. And so um, that's what leveraging in Bitcoin is like. You're making a trade off of a trade off of a trade, off of what you you know, actually put in your investment. And um, once you start understanding some of that, um, your trades possibly could have a big effect. Um, on the negative wise, not really much on the negative wise. I think more on the positive wise, because how can I say this? I mean, you've got to just experience it for yourself. That's the best way I can explain it, is that it's like a bunch of gears, and at first you don't have anything, so you have to make a gear. So basically, you got to start with your own money or your own bitcoins if you can, and then you got to work with that as far as trading. And then once you got that going, you start another gear, but it doesn't have to be the same gear. You can have it as a different size gear and work with another gear, and then once you get that working together, then you're able to leverage. And you're not per se using you're not making a promissory note, or you're not making a promise to pay in full if you can only use a fraction. You're not doing any of that. What you're doing is you're taking one trade, having it work with another trade, and between those two trades working together, you're getting a multiplying effect. And so that's what I'm talking about when I say leverage. So some of the things that I've done now is I'm starting to learn how to leverage my trade, both when it goes up and when it goes down. And even when my analysis may not be right and I'm anticipating a breakout, which it did not happen, that's okay. Because there's going to be times where it's not going to do that, or it's not going to do that right now. Um, how the market reacts, you just can't really predict. But what you can do is, after the market reacts, you can take action. All right, you yourself can take action and take advantage of what had happened, or what has happened. And so when the price goes up, if you did trade, and I trade all the time, and so unfortunately, I was anticipating the market to go up. I had some trades that occurred that didn't quite happen until the next day, and et cetera, et cetera. Anyways, I guess for some reason I was in a position where I had an opportunity to buy back in because I trade all the time, and because of my multiple trades that I have, um, I'm able to leverage those trades. Well, I guess fortunate or unfortunate um, for me, the price started coming down. And so I was a little upset because I did anticipate to go up, but at the same time, you have to take advantage of every opportunity, whether the price goes up or the price goes down. And that's just the way you have to see things. So when the price dropped, I said to myself, well, you know what? I could, and I probably will, take advantage of this price drop to get more Bitcoins. And now, because of the way I'm trading, I can trade in a way that I can take advantage of the upward movement in price as well as the downward movement in price. And once you get to that level, or you get to that point where whether the price goes up or the price goes down, you can take advantage. And I've been mentioning how you can do that. I've been telling you how you're missing one side of the trade if all you're doing is selling. If you're not doing any buying or any strategic buying or positioning yourself, there is no safe position per se. You're in a position whether you know it or not. Some things I've been doing is taking positions on both sides, and that way I don't have to predict the market. I just have to wait for the market to move, and based on that movement, I can take advantage of that movement. Not predict a movement, but react to a movement. And so when you see the price goes down, the great thing is you don't have to predict the price to go down. You just have to wait for the price to go down, take advantage of it. Same vice versa. Instead of predicting the price to go up, you don't have to do that. You just have to wait for the price to go up and take advantage of it, and then take advantage when the price go down. And so I'm learning a lot of stuff, and I'm learning mostly by doing. I'm a do-it-yourself guy. I'm a hands-on, and Bitcoins. You just got to be hands-on. You just have to do this in order to understand it. You can't just watch a video, although that's probably what you're doing now. But it does help to watch a video. But eventually, you got to go out and you got to do this yourself to get a better understanding. And for me, I've been very, very fortunate in experiencing this firsthand for myself, and all of the things that I have experienced. Because if I didn't experience those things, if I didn't do any of these things, I would never really understand the power and the potential and all the things that, specifically Bitcoin, but it could be any cryptocurrency really. But for the most part, I trade in Bitcoin. That's what I understand. That's what I use, and that's what I talk about. So, once you start using Bitcoin, you can really understand how powerful this is, how very empowering this is, and it's different. It's not anything like I've ever experienced before, and your life will definitely change. It just does, and why I don't quite understand why. I don't quite understand most of the things that I've experienced, but I am experiencing those things, and I have to tell you, they are very life-altering experiences. So, anyway, with that being said, if you want a chart analysis, I'll give you a chart analysis. I'm looking at some. There seems to be some now that it's confirmed that there is a. Let me see here. Okay, now that there is a resistance line here, I think there is a chance for this to keep going down. From what I've seen, this is on a 12-hour. Obviously, it's broken through. It's broken through these two average lines, and um, it's the momentum of going down has definitely pushed through. It past 250. It's gone down to 248, 249. What you're seeing here is just the bounce, the pullback from that downward push. But I think that's just from what I've seen here, it's not going above this 10 period average, it's staying below it. So get ready for more downward pressure. And I'm looking at the RSI here, and you'll see that this being at 50 or above, especially around here, is which really drove the price up. Now what you're seeing is it going down. There is some silver lining in this, is that when this went down, it hasn't gone below this low. So there could be a chance where it goes down. It's just hitting up here from the pullback, but it'll continue to go down, but it may not go below this, and it may be going zigzagging sideways right here, reacting from this downward, trying to going back into another triangle right here. And so if that's the case, more or less, this is nothing more than just a higher low from the previous low. Definitely a lower low from this low. So, but you have to kind of look at it as more of this being one motion. Although I did say this could be the next. This is a higher low than here, which is true, but it did break down below this low and down. But this low is not lower than this low. So watch out for that. So you're looking around maybe 240 to 230. If it breaks below that, then we're in trouble. This is probably gonna continue to slide down, go sideways, slide down. We'll see what happens. If it can stay above these levels right here, it just may be just going sideways, giving more time for this to break out of this trend line here. But how can you take advantage of it? Well, like I said, all you have to do is wait for the price to go down and then react to it. Ideally, you would probably want to buy when it goes down, and then either a couple things. You can trade on the exchange, you can hold them. I would recommend using them. Put them out into the open market and getting a better price. See if you can buy it from the open market at below price. Usually people are very happy to sell it when the price is going down. Don't ask me why. They're not happy when the prices are going up to sell it. So it's kind of ironic, because I would think you would do the opposite. You'd try to sell it when the prices are going up, and then try to buy it, buy it when the price is going down. But that's me. Anyways, I think this is gonna go down, as looks like it is. It did, if on an hourly, it did something really strange, and I noticed that is that it went up. It didn't, not so strange, but it was so dramatic. It went up, and then all of a sudden it went down, and then spiked up really quick. So this is kind of like a whipsaw effect. Let me see what happened. 50, 60, 70, so $20 within this short period of time, which it was kind of really strange. I saw this. It looked like it was gonna seem like it was gonna break out, but I don't think it was gonna break out. When you look at the RSIs and the MACDs, it looked like it was just gonna break out. But on an hourly, there's so much noise. Really, you got to pull back to the 12-hour. And so what I saw was This was just a whip, more or less just going up and down, but it's really, you know, the 10 period average here is really being a resistance. So I saw that, and I noticed that it hit up again but never pushed above it, and it's just a pull back from this downward price movement, pulling back, I think only to just hit up here, just to pull, probably play around in here. A couple things, it's going to probably range in here, or it's going to go down further. So it'll may retest this area to 240, 235 area. If it does, that's okay for me, because the way I position myself, again, I'm not predicting a price movement. I'm waiting for a price movement, and that's a big difference. Um, I used to wait for or try to predict a price movement, and sometimes I was right, sometimes I was wrong. Either way, I trade enough where I don't have to be right all the time. I just try to be right 80% of the time, which is kind of hard, but it's not impossible. Depends how much you're trading when you're right and how much you're trading when you're wrong. So that's the question. But if you can be 50% right, but during that 50% right, if you were trading more when you were right than you were wrong, that kind of equates out to 80%, if that makes sense. So I'm not saying you have to be 80% right. You can be half right, half wrong. It's just how much do you trade when you're right and how much do you trade when you're wrong that makes it equate to being 80% right, if that makes sense. Anyways, I've gotten to a point where I'm positioning myself in a way where I don't have to predict the market anymore. I still do. It still helps. I'm still, I'll be honest, I'll be like 50-50, but how much of I trade when I'm right and how much I trade when I'm wrong makes a huge difference. And some of the ways I've been able to do that is now mix in together with another trade, because the way I'm positioned is now I'm waiting for a price movement instead of predicting. So I'm actually doing a little bit of both. And between those two, you're able to get a very high, how can I say this, high rate of being right on the trade, being on the right side of the trade. And so now I'm literally leveraging my trade that way. So you're making a trade on a trade on a trade, and you're able to put forth very little risk, but be able to gain a lot of reward. And so if you ever get to that point, kudos to you. I hope most of you can get to that point. It takes a lot of time, takes a lot of trading. You have to build up to it. But once you built up to that point, and then you position yourself in the right way, you can, and you realize, it's, if you make your gains in the dollar and you make your gains in Bitcoin, it doesn't matter which way the market moves, it just has to move. And once you realize that, then man, you just have to be in the game as long as you can, all the time if possible, and you're either going to make money or you're going to make Bitcoins, one or the other. Either way, it's fine for me, because when the price goes up, I'm happy I have a lot of Bitcoins. When the price goes down, I'm happy I have, dollars, fiat currency, because that allow me to get more Bitcoins, because when the price goes back up, I mean, what I'm saying sounds like, duh, it makes sense, but when you do it, it's hard to do, because you have to get to a certain point and you have to position yourself to get to that point. So now you can both predict the market and react to the market. So you can take advantage of both situations, and that's what I mean. Position yourself on both sides of the trade. Now you're literally using 100% of the trade, and then on top of that, you're trading off a trade off a trade. So now you're leveraging your trades, so you don't even have to put out as much risk, but gain a lot of reward. And I hope you understand what I'm talking about. The only way you can't understand is just you have to do this. You have to do this. You have to trade. You have to. It's hands-on experience. It's a do-it-yourself experience, and the more you do it yourself, the more you do trading, either exchange. I say do it all. In person, peer-to-peer, exchange. However, whatever you want to do, goods and services exchange, whatever. The more you do it, the more experience you're going to get, the more you're going to understand. And once you realize how amazing this is, how powerful this can be, you'll never be the same. You will not be the same person. You'll come in as one person, and you'll walk out completely different. The world around you changes. The way you, the views, the things you, it just changes. I mean, I can only say experience it for yourself. I hope you get to experience it for yourself. Anyways, so that's I guess for my prediction. If you want my chart analysis for a prediction, my prediction is that basically now that I've seen what's happening or what's going on, I'm able to get a better idea what could happen. The price obviously has gone down, and then it has now moved up, and then it'll probably go down one more time, and then maybe go up, and then zigzag from there. And as long as it doesn't break below this, it should probably zigzag, and then probably, I'm thinking, bounce, try to break this trend line again, or hit up against it for another attempt to break through it. Below this area, if it breaks below that, you're looking at a new possible chance of a new lower low. It's going to break below this. And so there's different areas to look for. It breaks below that, and then this. So there could be a chance that it can go down as well. Who knows? Again, try to position yourself where no matter what happens, you can take advantage of what's going to happen and what has happened. So position yourself in the right way, and you'll be able to, always take advantage of the price movement. Whether you're predicting it to go up or you're reacting to what has happened, it's you're taking advantage of both sides of the trade, the long and the short. I don't know I guess that's just the easy way to say it. And the way you're making your money is the price moving. And what I'm saying is 100% true. You're just making your money the way price moving. You just have to learn how to be patient and sit back and let it move on its own, whether it's up or it's down or whatever. You're making a gain based off of the price moving. I know it's kind of weird for me to say it. It's like duh, but again, it all depends on how you position yourself. And you've got to have a Bitcoin. I mean, okay, you got to have a Bitcoin, and not only have it, but to hold it too. Because you got to be prepared to let that Bitcoin appreciate in price. And then not only that, but you're already in a position, whether you know it or not. You got, if I deal in U.S. dollars, if you have U.S. dollars, guess what? You're in a position. When the price falls, go buy some Bitcoins. I mean, it's not that difficult. Um, a lot of things I say is not that difficult, but you have to do it for yourself in order to experience what I'm talking about, and then understand what I'm talking about, because that's the only way it's going to happen. You can't do it just by watching my videos. You have to go out and you have to get a Bitcoin in order to experience it, and then when you start trading and learning how to trade, then you'll understand that predicting or reacting, either way, you're taking advantage of both sides of the trade, and you'll be able to make a gain in either US dollars or Bitcoin. You just have to wait for the price to move. That's all. So, I guess that's my video for today. I just want to share that with you. Gave you a chart analysis as well. Hopefully that's going to help. So when I look at the RSI here, what I'll see is, in this kind of scenario where it just goes up and down and hits the 30, and you think, well, hey, there you go, hit the 30, it's going to go back up again. Not really. It's probably going to just pull up again just a little bit more, and it doesn't take much for this to go down to have a drastic effect on the price moving down. As you can tell from here and here, that the price moved higher despite the RSI didn't move higher. And even though this is a drastic price going down, it did not make a lower low than this low. So it moved up, hit this 10-period average, and it's going to go down again, probably one more jab, maybe a couple more, zigzagging to a certain point, maybe make a soft landing to 240 or somewhere around there. But from what I've seen, this long period of being above at 50, it could be just pulling back to push back up again, and that's another scenario that I'm seeing. So anyways, this is a very long episode, sorry about that. There's a lot of things that happen. Like I said, this time period here, Evolution, the dark website, dark market website, has basically absconded with their users' money, users' Bitcoin. So whether this is the reason for it or whether this resistance is for it, it kind of amazes me how it just works into the chart analysis. So anyways, hopefully this helped you out. Feel free to comment, like, dislike, even leave a video response. Until next time, stay tuned. Bye.